Oh yeah, free giveaway Friday.
Crabtendo.
What is going on, guys? DJ Av here. I can officially use DJ back in my name again because we are getting back into DJing, and it's one of the things I want to talk about on this channel. So what better way to start doing stuff like this than to give away one free controller to a lucky subscriber, a lucky person that is a part of my emailing list. So if you want to know the details of this, the link will be in the description box. All you have to do is go to dj@mcree.net, go to the home page, and sign up for the mailing list, and you will be a part of it. If you're already a part of the mailing list and you signed up a week ago, which was October 18th, 2019, then you don't have to sign up again. Otherwise, you have to sign up again to be able to be qualified for this baby right here. One lucky winner will get this. So what is this basically? So this is what you call a DJ controller. DDJ, digital DJing. And yeah, I really like this thing. I really like the gold Jogwheels about this, and I will talk more about the software here, which I want to talk about because it is a Serato based DJ controller. It is made by Pioneer. It is the DDJ-SB3, and it's really meant for beginners, but I think that this is a really good controller for anybody, and that's really how you should make a product, because it's supposed to be beginner friendly, but also be able to be good enough to grow with you as well. And it's only cost $250. But with that, let's go ahead and explore this baby because I know y'all ready for it. So here we are. I'm going to walk you through some of the features here, and then I'll play with it a little bit so you guys can see. But this is the Pioneer DDJ-SB3, which is a $250 controller. So it's a beginner controller, beginner price, and there are some beginner features. And it comes with Serato Lite instead of Serato Pro. But what do you expect from a beginner controller? I mean, we'll talk more about that in the future here, but I just want to go ahead and just demonstrate something right here. So you can scratch. So that is pretty cool that you can scratch, and you know, that's one thing I really do like about it. I don't know why Serato is running like 30 frames versus me running at 60 frames right now, but whatever. You know, we'll deal with that in another time or another video. Do apologize. But the things that I want to talk about is, so if you know, the Jogwheel, very accurate. And what you do with this Jogwheel, if you're on the top here, you can scratch and scrub through it. You can also go shift in vinyl, and then it becomes like a search or something like that. And, you know, if I was to play it, it will allow you to bump up the speed, slow down the speed in that mode. So that is that. Of course, it does have the sync buttons. So if you're a fan of syncing, well, you can sync to a track or whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with the sync button. I mean, it is what it is. You turn it off by pressing shift and sync, of course. And, you know, it's really nice. One of the things I do like about it is the crossfader. Even despite this being a beginner controller, it's really nice. Again, if I was to go back to the beginning and do a little bump cut. You can see it's really good. You do have to set this up for scratching. I mean, nonetheless, the Jogwheels would be fine because it's not that much latency behind it or anything like that. I haven't really noticed any latency because, you know, Serato's already set up to where you would use what comes on the back of it, or the IOs, which is RCA jacks. And the RCA jacks, yeah, they're not the best quality in the world. We're going to talk more about that a little later in this video because that is one of my biggest complaints about this controller. It does have a mic in jack, but I'm not going to demonstrate the microphone. And, you know, it's really good for the most part. You also can control, and let's talk more about this area right here, which is the mixer itself. You can control the loudness right here, just like on a regular mixer. And it has a little bit of tension behind it, and that's cool because that means that you can get some very delicate fades. If you do set up your crossfader in Serato to be more slower per se, and instead of cutting real fast like this, then yeah, you can have somewhat of a crossfade like that. That's not how I DJ. Of course, I'm a hip hop DJ, so you know, whatever. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. So The EQs, pretty decent here. Let's get some more volume here. All right, it's the low. Get a lot of bass. It's the mids and highs. You also have a filter right here, which is a low pass filter if you go right here, and then a high pass filter. And I find that to be very useful. I mean, it's one of the main things that I really like about this is that the filter section is right here, and you also have the cues. Another complaint, you know, from me shooting this, it could be a little, it's kind of hard to tell that these are on the LEDs, but again, $250 controller, $250 specs, I guess. But one thing I can say about this particular controller is that it's by no means trash for $250. I mean, damn, if I showed you what I got for $250 years ago, you'll be definitely saying that's trash. You have this master level here, and I'm gonna go ahead and play the track here. Turn it up. And you also have like the independence, so when you're playing the track, you can mix it in that way as well. And sync button if you want to sync to something. One of the more interesting features though is definitely the pads. So we had the pads. Let's talk about these pads though. So I'm going to press Shift and Q and bring the track to the very beginning, and I'm going to go ahead and press play, and I'm going to activate these different cues. So I already have cues already in here. So yeah, you can get down and bit dirty with this baby right here. They're very responsive. And that's one thing I really like about it. One thing I will say though, if you're using this, because I have Serato DJ Pro, you only get access to these first 4 right here. Yeah, about that. But pressing Shift will get rid of those cues. Of course, if you used to play the track and get the cues in there, I'm gonna go ahead and let it roll. I'm gonna delete that one. I'm pressing a little light, and you know, one thing I can say about the pads are quality. You also have other features as well, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to play it again. I'm going to go ahead and press Shift because you have FX fades, which allows you to mix to another track, and then you know you can turn it off by hitting it again. You have roll. This one right here, then a backspin, which is cool. And so you have some more if you have Serato Pro. So you got a more dramatic spin backspin. You also have auto looping, so I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate auto looping. I love it. And you can stretch it out, and you can make it shorter by hitting these buttons. And that's just really dope for that part of it, you know. Again, my thing with this is these pitch faders are really, they don't have a lot of travel. But again, it's a beginning controller. And yeah. So, you know, it's just one of the things that, you know, some minor gripes, of course, but whatever the case may be, you'll learn to deal with it. Also, there is a feature that everybody was going crazy about, and I mean in a bad way, but I think it's a really good feature. It was brought to you by DJ Jazzy Jeff, which is one of my all-time favorites as far as DJs go. But anyways, there is a scratch pad feature. So more or less, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the scratch pad feature, or a pad scratch. and I'm gonna go ahead and play the track. And what it does is it allows you to do scratching with one button. It's pretty cool. It's just really cool. And the purpose of it is just basically to move the culture forward, you know, not to have something that DJs developed over a couple of decades just disappear from DJing altogether. And that's also the reason why we have this nice quality controller at a budget price. And you know, that's one of the things I like about the DDJ-SB3. It allows people to actually experiment with DJing from a new generation. You have effects too as well. You gotta turn the level up to access them, and you can activate more than one at a time. And as you can see, you know, it's just in their post fader. Let's go post fader. So that just makes for some really dope mixes. So I mean, that's the thing I'm really excited about having a controller like this, is that I'll be able to mix and do a whole bunch of stuff too. One of the things I did not talk about, of course, is that it has a headphone jack in the front here. I'm not using the headphone jack. I don't really mix that way, but you know, if you want to hear a song while you're actively playing a song on the other side, you can. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this right here, because I haven't talked about the browser and how it works. So let's go ahead into another view. So we have this browser button in the middle, and what it does is it allows you to browse all your stuff in Serato, which Serato's pretty good. One of the things I do like about Serato is that it allows you to have SoundCloud Go linked into it, given that you have a subscription to SoundCloud Go, which all DJs should have access to as much music as possible, and Tidal. So if you hit this knob in the middle, if you push it down, it will allow you access to your different crates and whatever else you have. So, you know, that's all you have to do, and click down again to get access to your crate that you have created. Of course, you can have custom crates of all kinds, and that allows you to do a lot of things. So what I'm going to do here is, since I have another track, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a track here. All right, so what I'm going to do is do a little vanilla mixing. So I'm going to show you some plain Jane stuff, some simple stuff real quick that you could do it and kind of talk through it as much as I can. All right, so what I'm going to do here is press play, have my hand on the platter here, the jogwheel, and there we go. We got something going now. There we go. All right. And what you could do in the process of you doing that is you can play the other track. You want to have the crossfader all the way over to the right side when you're playing stuff on the left deck so you don't hear anything. Boom. You know, you want to mess with the mix a little bit, and if you want to hear it while you have your headphones plugged into it, of course you have your headphones plugged in, you hit the Q button, and that'll allow you to do that. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and stop that track because I already have what I want ready. Then you can do other things like filtering in. Okay, that was horrible, but whatever. You saw me nudge the jogwheel on this side to slow the track down, and you know, just have that. And then of course you can make your hot cues. And you know, go with it. You know, you can add more hot cues, add the scratch thingy in there. I don't know. The scratch thing ain't for me, but you know, it is what it is. So it's really dope. Remember, one of the things I haven't talked about though is this right here. You can double tap load and bring the other track in there. And per se, you know, if you're a lefty or something like that and you scratch with your left, you can have it playing that way. So when you have that going, you know, don't forget to turn off the effect, of course, because that's gonna sound weird, but you know, that comes with practice. So remember, there was things that I said I did not like. Let's talk about it. It's one thing in particular I do not like. If you're listening to this loud enough, like on your headphones or whatever, you have noticed like a little bit of a buzz, and that's actually coming from the RCA jack. I'm running a USB hub with this, so that's pushing it a bit, and that's gonna introduce some noise of some type, but it is also on a grounded USB, and this shouldn't happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn up the volume to 0, and you'll notice like a little bit of a buzz. I'm gonna turn it more so you can hear it. And that is absolutely annoying. And so I wouldn't be as mad about that if I haven't already returned this just to make sure it wasn't me. But see, the thing is, I returned it, and then the same thing happened, and the guy was trying to tell me at Guitar Center, hey, well, perhaps, you know, you don't have a grounded USB. And I was like, no, that's not the case. And he was like, why? Then what is the problem then? I was like, it has to be the RCA jacks. And, you know, I started reading around, and there's some people that have that experience with it, but it's random how that happens. But the RCA jacks sometimes have that little buzz sound, this right here, in there. And what is not necessarily my USB, which it can happen. You can get a little bit of noise when you're running a crazy amount of USB stuff and you have a hub or some type. But I plugged up another controller I'm going to talk about in a future video, and it didn't have the same problem. So otherwise, this controller is really damn good. Last but not least, there are 4 decks that you can get access to, but it's a 2-channel mixer, so it's not necessarily ideal for it. You get access to your different decks by hitting like this button over here, button 4, and I have it to where it's supposed to be lined up for a 2-channel, and that is kind of a buggy thing. I really don't like that. So this is how you set up your DJ controller for Serato if you want the crossfaders to be a little faster in time. So what you're going to do is this right here. You're going to go over here to this nut over here, this bolt, and we're going to hit that bolt, and it's going to bring up your options. From options, you're going to go to your mixer, and then from your mixer options, you're going to go down here and set your crossfader. So if you set your crossfader to slow, that means it will slowly mix in. And if you set your crossfader to fast, that means it will cut in like natural, like battle DJ style if you want to scratch of it. And that's the way I preferably like to mix my tracks anyways. You can also set it up in the software to where you can cut reverse. So if you prefer to fade in the right side in a specific way, you can have it set that way, or the other way. Hamster style is what we call it, but you know, reverse. So tell me how you feel about this review. My main thing that I really like about this is the size of it is good enough to fit into a certain bag, and a very affordable bag at that. I will have another video about that because I think a lot of DJs would appreciate that, which would mean that a lot of DJs will probably lean towards this right here. I mean, this is a beginner controller, so it's not going to be loaded out like something like the DDJ-800 or the DDJ-1000, which are fantastic controllers because they have everything with it. And I really do like that it comes with Serato Lite, but there is some catch-22 things about it. Of course, the fact that, you know, you only have certain features that are locked behind a paywall. Serato DJ Pro is $129, and that kind of sucks. And I will explain that in another video with a comparison with another controller, because this is not the only controller that I have, and definitely not the only controller that I'm going to give away. And I just really like it though. As far as build quality, it's really nice, and it has a really good fader. It's not the best fader in the world. Of course, you're paying $250, so if you are a scratch DJ, you're not gonna feel totally satisfied. But as somebody that does a lot of scratching myself, I really do like it. As far as the other features about this, I'm not too crazy about the DJ Jazzy Jeff auto scratch thingy on here. I mean, I think that's kind of silly, but at the same time, I really do like it because it does push the culture, because somebody might say, hey, how did they do that? And then you'll have to learn, and then you got channels like mine that will teach you how to scratch, because I know a lot about scratching. So I really like that DJ Jazzy Jeff is pushing this culture forward, as well as digital DJing, because that's the most important part about it, because technology is advancing and we got to be more acceptable about technology. As long as it's nobody getting hurt, it should be very fine. An even bigger gripe for me about this controller is the fact that I did buy this controller and I had to return it because it has a little bit of a humming sound that is coming from the masters over here. I mean, it's RCA, so I don't expect the best quality ever, but I do expect it to be clean. I know that a lot of people have told me to use a grounder for your USB, and that did not help, but the other controller did not have that problem, which is the S2 Mark III by Traktor, and that is its direct competition. So I would recommend that Pioneer does fix that in the future. Some people might not have that issue, but I've had that issue and I returned it and got this exact same issue to happen again. So I'm really disappointed by that, but you know, you might not have that issue, and I have one brand new in the box because I bought 2 of them, and hey, you never know, it might just be me. I do have a USB with a whole bunch of stuff on there. I got a hub that is fully loaded of MIDI controllers and stuff like that, so that could be my issue alone. Do I give this MIDI controller the stamp of approval? I think it's pretty damn good. I think I still would recommend this, just the fact that it doesn't have a lot of bad going on for it and a whole bunch of good. So I say about 85%. There always is room for improvements.